All right, everybody. Today we're going to do a replacement front sight on a Smith J-frame. This is one of our new pre-drilled J-frame sights. For the longest time, the front sights haven't been drilled because you need to drill it for your gun. That pinhole varies a little bit from gun to gun, and it makes it hard or nearly impossible for us to drill that before you get the front sight. However, we left the R&D team unsupervised, and they came up with a new plan. We thought it was good, so here we go. First thing, of course, make sure the handgun is unloaded. Open the cylinder, take a look at it. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the cylinder because it just makes life a little easier. We're going to find a screwdriver that fits that screw correctly. Just loosen that screw. Now this is my 442 Ultimate Carry. If you've got a 442 Ultimate Carry, you really won't need to do this. You've already got a good front sight on there from the factory. I just don't happen to have a J-frame in the building available with a pinned front, so my poor 442 is going to get a new front. I'm going to stabilize my cylinder and pull the crane out. Set it aside, set the cylinder aside. We're going to head over to the vise and get after it. I'll see you there. I've got the barrel clamped in a padded vise so I don't damage the barrel. Next thing I got to do is remove the factory pin. Be careful how you do this. You want to retain that pin because we're going to need it to install the sight, the new sight here in a minute. So, using my punch. Come on. Take your time, don't get in a hurry. Sometimes it can be a little tricky getting it to start in there just like you want. Ideally, you don't let that fall on the floor. Fortunately, I saw it. That's what our gunsmith would call a Jesus Christ part. It's one of those that hits the ground and you just go, "Ah, oh, Jesus Christ, now I gotta find it." It's not a fun experience. We're going to take a non-marring block and we're going to tap this front sight. More than likely it's got a little bit of Loctite just in case. Try and break it free. Not trying to drive it anywhere, just trying to give it a chance to break any of that Loctite loose. And sometimes, ideally, a set of padded pliers. All right. We're going to have to dry fit the new front and make sure everything fits like it's supposed to, but before we do that, we need to clean anything that's in here. In this case, there's some red Loctite before we do that. Depending on what it is and how it's dried, you may need to go in with something and scrape that out. I mean, this is all kind of pretty dry and gnarly, so I'm going to carefully take this punch and kind of scrape most of that funk out. So now we're going to take our new front and we're going to dry fit it. In this case, it's pretty snug. We need to do just a little bit of file work. We want it to be a fairly snug fit, but we want to be able to put it in and remove it with finger pressure. That way we're not risking any damage to the tritium lamp. And like I said, we're going to dry fit it, remove it, clean everything, and then we have to apply some Loctite. So basically what I need to do is file this tab, just 1 to 2 strokes on each side, check it, and continue until it goes in like I want. Triangular file for me works a little better because I can be a little more precise and have a little more control over it. Flat file will work just fine if that's all you have. Just remember, most flat files don't have a safe edge. So you're cutting on this face as well as that edge. So if I were to file like that, I might remove some material from that ledge. Triangular file, I generally don't have that happen. And like I said, I can be a little more precise. Repeat on the other side, and then we'll check it. Not quite there, so I'm going to keep on doing this. We'll see you in a minute once I get her finished. Okay, movie magic, man, movie magic. What can I say? I've got it filed. I'm pretty happy with how that fits. As you can see, it's still pretty snug going into that slot, but that's what I want. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pin punch and verify that I've got alignment with that hole, and I do. Okay, we'll remove the punch, remove the sight, and we're going to go ahead and clean everything really good with our Lucas gun cleaner. Like I said, for this particular installation, red Loctite is absolutely critical. You do need to use it. We want it to do its job, so we want to start with everything being clean and dry. Both that slot in the barrel where the sight's going to go and the sight itself. We'll use a very generous amount of red Loctite. What squishes out here in a little bit will get cleaned up before we call this done. So, plenty of Loctite in the slot. Front sight's going to drop in. We're going to take that punch and we're going to, just like we did before, run it in there and make sure we have our alignment like we need. Now, back it out a little bit so I got room for that roll pin to start. I use a roll pin holder or starter punch and let that drive my pin punch out. Okay, we're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. Movie magic at its finest. We waited 10 minutes, but you didn't have to. We're going to just take some Q-tips, clean off this extra Loctite. Okay. Definitely want to give it a little bit of oil because we cleaned all the oil off of it. It is steel, but we'll get to that eventually. Next thing, I'm going to get my cylinder kind of where it needs to be and install the crane. Now would be a perfect time to add a little oil or grease if you haven't done this in a while. Anyway, crane goes in. I'm going to close my cylinder. Makes it easier to hang on to and show you what I'm doing here. And we're going to reinstall the screw. Just snug. All right, that completes the installation. Need to let it sit overnight so that the Loctite can set up good and solid, and then give it a run through tomorrow before I go back to carrying it. But should be just fine. That being said, while you're working on this, if you have any questions, please feel free to visit our website, www.xssites.com, and shoot our tech support an email if you have any questions, or catch us during business hours and give us a call. We would much rather you give us a shout and make sure that everything's going correct than to see you damage your gun or your sight.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Also, be sure to be following us on Instagram and Facebook to be up to speed in all the new things that we're doing. If you guys want early access into some of those cool things that we're doing, make sure that you're signed up for our email newsletter. You guys get exclusive discounts, early promos, and like I said, insights to all the new things that we're doing. As an American-made, family-owned company, our mission is to empower the good guy to be more confident, self-reliant, and prepared through functional weapon upgrades. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.